Have you ever felt like you were fighting a war inside your own head? Like there's a part of you striving for greatness and another part sabotaging you every step of the way? That war is the reason so many men fail NoFap. But what if I told you there's an ancient mindset tested by emperors, warriors, and philosophers that can turn this struggle into power? That mindset is Stoicism. And when Stoicism meets NoFap, the result is more than just self-control, it's transformation. This isn't just about quitting porn, it's about mastering yourself. NoFap, at its core, is a journey of discipline. But it's more than just resisting urges, it's a rebellion against modern-day comfort culture. Every time you say no to a fleeting pleasure, you're saying yes to your higher self. That's where Stoicism becomes your armor. The Stoics weren't obsessed with controlling the world, they focused on mastering the one thing they could, their own minds. And in today's world of instant gratification, that mindset is revolutionary. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That quote alone is a cheat code for anyone on NoFap, because when the urges come, when your brain screams for release, you don't fight with anger. You don't suppress it with fear. You face it with calm, collected awareness. You remind yourself, this is not who I am. This is just a thought, a wave. It will pass. The problem most men have with NoFap is that they treat it like a punishment. They go in counting days, waiting for the benefits like a kid waiting for a reward. But the Stoic doesn't count days. He counts virtues. He asks, am I more resilient than I was yesterday? Am I in control of my emotions? Am I living in alignment with my purpose? That shift from obsessing over outcomes to focusing on character is the ultimate game changer. Stoicism doesn't just make NoFap easier, it makes it meaningful. The Stoics believed that discomfort was the training ground of virtue. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." That's exactly what NoFap is. It's not a punishment, it's resistance training for your soul. Every time you face an urge and choose not to act on it, you're building mental muscle. You're choosing to rise above base instinct. You're becoming less of a slave to impulse and more of a master of your will. In the modern world, we've been conditioned to chase dopamine like addicts. One click, one tap, one scroll. But what if you stop chasing? What if you learn to sit in stillness and let the craving pass without reacting? The Stoics trained for this through negative visualization, voluntary hardship, and deep reflection. They would imagine loss, poverty, even death, not to make life miserable, but to sharpen their appreciation for the present and strengthen their minds against fear and temptation. You can do the same. When an urge hits, don't panic. Observe it. Feel it, let it burn through you, but remain unmoved, like a mountain in the storm. NoFap isn't about being perfect. Stoicism teaches us that failure isn't the enemy, it's data. If you relapse, don't spiral into guilt. Guilt is useless if it doesn't fuel growth. A Stoic reflects with clarity. What triggered me? What thought led to the action? What belief needs to be reprogrammed? This kind of self-inquiry turns failure into fuel. You're not starting over, you're starting wiser. One of the most powerful tools in both Stoicism and NoFap is presence. Urges don't live in the now. They live in the imagined future or the remembered past. But if you return to the breath, return to this moment, you become untouchable. That's why meditation and journaling are so powerful. They bring you back to your center. And from that center, you can respond, not react. The truth is, the combination of NoFap and Stoicism doesn't just make you stronger. It awakens something ancient inside you, a primal sense of purpose, a calm intensity. You begin to walk through life with grounded confidence. Women notice it, men respect it. But most importantly, you feel it. not because you're chasing something, but because you've finally stopped running from yourself. If you want to succeed in NoFap long-term, you need more than just willpower. You need a system. The Stoics lived by daily disciplines, not just lofty ideas. They believed character was built through consistent action, not emotion. That's where most people go wrong. They wait to feel motivated. But a Stoic understands that emotions are like weather, unstable, temporary, not to be trusted. What you can trust is routine, ritual. The structure you choose when your mind is calm is the fortress that protects you when the storm hits. Start your day like Marcus Aurelius. Before the world distracts you, take a few minutes to reflect. Ask yourself, what kind of man do I want to be today? What challenges will I face? How will I respond? This is what the Stoics called premeditatio malorum, preparing the mind for difficulty. If you know temptation is coming, you're not caught off guard. You meet it with intention. Journaling is another powerful habit. It's not just for venting thoughts, it's for sharpening clarity. When you write, you confront the chaos in your mind and give it order. You start to see patterns. You notice what triggers your urges. You track your progress. This kind of self-awareness is what turns NoFap from a struggle into a strategy. You're not just white-knuckling through life. You're studying yourself. Like a Stoic philosopher, refining your habits, mastering your internal world. Physical discipline also plays a role. The body and mind are connected. If you spend your days slouched in a chair, eating junk, overstimulated by screens, your willpower will crumble. But if you train your body through cold showers, intense workouts, or even simple walks in silence, you remind your nervous system that you're in control, that you're a creator of energy, not a victim of cravings. Another habit? Silence. Real silence. No phone, no music, just you and your thoughts. It's uncomfortable at first because most people use stimulation to escape themselves. But the Stoic learns to sit with his mind, to watch the thoughts rise and fall without chasing them. In this silence, you find out who you really are. Not the version shaped by dopamine and distraction, but the version shaped by purpose and clarity. There is power in restraint. In a world that says indulge, you say wait. In a culture that glorifies instant gratification, you walk a different path. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. NoFap isn't just a challenge, it's a rite of passage. And Stoicism gives you the map. There comes a point on the NoFap journey where it's no longer about resisting urges. It becomes something higher, something spiritual. You start to realize that what you're doing is not just self-improvement, it's self-reclamation. You're taking back parts of yourself that were lost in noise, numbness, and neglect. And Stoicism lights the way. It doesn't promise you comfort. It promises you truth. It doesn't ask you to feel better. It asks you to become better. Epictetus, a former slave turned Stoic teacher, said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Think about that. How many people walk around thinking they're free, yet they can't go a single day without giving in to the lowest version of themselves? How many men live as prisoners to their own desires? They scroll, they binge, they relapse. Not because they want to, but because they've lost the ability to choose otherwise. Stoicism reminds us that freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want. It comes from the strength to say no. And here's where the shift happens. When you stop seeing NoFap as a sacrifice and start seeing it as a gift, you begin to value your energy. You guard it. You channel it into your purpose. You begin to carry yourself differently, not with arrogance, but with quiet power. You look people in the eye. You speak with weight. You stop apologizing for your presence. Why? Because you're no longer wasting your essence on empty pleasure. You're directing it toward your mission. This mindset shift doesn't just change your habits, it changes your identity. You stop saying, "I'm trying to quit porn," and you start saying, "I'm becoming the kind of man who doesn't need it." That's Stoicism in action. It's not about suppressing desire, it's about transforming it, redirecting that raw, primal energy into building a life of meaning, into creating, into leading, into rising. And yes, it's hard. Of course it is. But the Stoic doesn't run from hard. He seeks it. He knows that resistance is the forge where greatness is born. Every urge you overcome is a victory. Every day you stay true to your path is another stone laid in the foundation of your future self. No applause, no trophies, just you. Quietly, becoming a man of unshakable discipline. So when the world tempts you with shortcuts, distractions, and empty highs, remember who you are becoming. Remember why you started. And remember this: you are not alone. You walk a path once walked by warriors, philosophers, and kings. And each day you choose discipline over desire. You take another step toward becoming one of them. This journey you're on, it's not just about self-discipline. It's about reclaiming your throne. It's about becoming a man who stands tall in a world that constantly tries to make him shrink. A man who doesn't run from discomfort, but meets it with calm defiance. A man who doesn't need validation because he's aligned with something deeper than approval. This is the Stoic path. This is the Stoic path. This is the NoFap transformation. And when the two meet, they create something unshakable, something sacred. Every time you say no to temptation, you say yes to your future. Every time you choose awareness over impulse, you break another link in the chain that's held you down. You stop being a consumer of pleasure and you become a producer of power. Your energy stops leaking. It begins to rise. People may not see it, but they'll feel it. The shift in your presence, the depth in your eyes, the peace in your silence. This is the aura of a man who's mastered himself. Remember this: you are not meant to live on autopilot. You are not here to be drained by pixels on a screen. You were born to move mountains, to build, to protect, to lead. But to do that, you must first conquer the battlefield within. And that takes more than motivation. It takes a code, a philosophy, a way of life. That's what Stoicism offers. A compass when the path gets dark, a shield when the world throws chaos your way. A reminder that true strength is not loud, it's still, it's patient, it's relentless. So keep going. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because every urge resisted is a spark, and enough sparks can light a fire that changes everything. You're not just quitting a habit, you're rewriting your story. You're becoming the man who walks with discipline, speaks with wisdom, and acts with purpose. That man is already inside you. NoFap is how you unlock him. Stoicism is how you keep him. This is your path now. Walk it with pride, walk it with strength, and above all, walk it with the unshakable certainty that you are no longer owned by the world. You belong to yourself now. At some point, this journey stops being just about you. Once you've built strength from within, once you've reclaimed your energy and sharpened your mind, you begin to realize this discipline, this philosophy, this way of life, it ripples. The way you show up changes how others feel around you. Your silence starts to speak louder than most people's noise. Your focus becomes contagious. Your presence, your restraint, your unwavering clarity, it becomes rare. And what is rare becomes valuable. Most men are searching for power outside themselves, through money, status, pleasure. But the real power, the kind that lasts, comes from within. It's forged in the quiet moments where you choose discipline over indulgence, in the battles no one sees, in the choices no one applauds. That's where your legacy is built. Because the man who can master himself, he can change his world. He can raise a strong family, lead with calm wisdom, inspire without saying a word. You start to realize that self-control is not just a tool, it's a message to every younger brother, every lost friend, every man in the dark. There is another way. You don't have to numb yourself to survive this world. You don't have to chase fake highs to feel alive. You can reclaim your power, you can rebuild from the inside out, and you can live in such a way that others are reminded of their own strength just by being around you. That is your duty now. Not perfection, but example. Not ego, but impact. And if you stay on this path rooted in Stoic wisdom, fueled by discipline, guided by purpose, you won't just change your life. You'll spark a fire in others. You'll become the kind of man whose life is proof that greatness isn't found. It's forged, day by day, urge by urge, choice by choice. You are not here to be average. You are here to be remembered. Eventually, the war inside your head begins to quiet. The urges lose their grip. The chaos fades. And what's left is stillness. Not emptiness, not boredom, but presence. You start to feel a deep peace, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. You no longer need to escape your mind. You've made peace with it. You've built a temple inside yourself, brick by brick, choice by choice. And now you live there. This is the part no one talks about. The reward isn't flashy. It's not fireworks or applause. It's a quiet confidence, a steady gaze, a deep breath that doesn't carry guilt or anxiety. It's the ability to sit alone in a room without a screen, without distraction, and feel completely whole. This is the soul of Stoicism. And this is the true reward of NoFap. Not just energy, not just motivation, but sovereignty. Full ownership of your life. You begin to realize that urges will still come, but they no longer own you. You see them, acknowledge them, and let them pass like clouds drifting across the sky. You no longer wrestle with them. You don't fear them, because you've become the observer, not the slave. You've stepped out of the cycle, and once you've tasted that kind of freedom, you never go back. This is the evolution, from chaos to control, from craving to clarity, from boy to man, and not just any man, but a man of principle, a man of presence, a man of purpose. You've earned your peace, and now your energy flows into your mission, your body, your words, your relationships. You walk through life with less noise in your mind, less weight on your shoulders. You've simplified, you've focused, you've ascended. So now the challenge is not to fight harder, but to live deeper, to walk with that inner fire, not just for yourself, but for something greater, to carry this mindset into every room you enter, every decision you make, and to remind others, not with speeches, but with the way you live, that self-mastery is possible, that peace is possible, that purpose is worth fighting for. Because in the end, this was never about quitting anything. It was about becoming everything you were meant to be. Somewhere out there, another man is where you once were, lost in the loop, scrolling through shadows, wondering why his fire feels so dim. He doesn't know your name, he's never heard your voice, but one day he'll feel your impact, because when you choose to rise, you give silent permission for others to do the same. Your discipline echoes, your growth radiates. You become a living signal, proof that transformation is possible, that mastery is real. And make no mistake, this world needs you. Not another influencer, not another hollow voice chasing clicks. It needs men rooted, focused, grounded, men who can stand tall without needing to be seen. Men who don't just speak of values, but embody them in silence. This path you're on, it's rare, most will quit, many will laugh, but the few who stay the course, those few shape the world. So let them laugh, let them doubt, let them sleep. You'll be too busy building, too busy becoming, not because you're running from who you were, but because you've finally remembered who you are. The temptations that once ruled you, they're nothing now. You've outgrown them. Not out of fear, but out of respect for your own time, your own soul, your own sacred energy. And when life tests you again, and it will, you won't panic. You'll breathe, you'll observe, you'll choose. Because that's what you do now. You don't react, you respond. You've turned your life into a practice, a philosophy, a rhythm of intentional living that makes every day meaningful, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. There's no final reward, no badge, no finish line. Just the man in the mirror sharper, calmer, clearer than he was the day before. And that's enough. Because when you live with virtue, when you act with courage, when you stay true to your code, you carry a quiet joy no algorithm can replicate. And that joy becomes your anchor in a drifting world. So keep going, not for streaks, not for clout, for truth, for peace, for the legacy you're carving into the bones of time. You've chosen the narrow road, you've chosen discipline over desire, and now you walk as a Stoic. You live as a flame that will not go out.